Hey guys, it's Kevin again, and this is going to be my review for Arrow Season 2, Episode 15, The Promise, and I love this episode. I really did, because one of the things I have not been loving about Arrow this season is you have these really big plot points, but then they spend the whole episode on a villain we're never going to see again. And that's one of the only things that I hate about Arrow, is that they spend so much shit on this person that we're never going to see again. However, this episode was barely in the present. It was mainly almost all island flashbacks of why is Slade the way he is, why did they not like him. It really just advanced the island plot more. Anyone ever saying the island thing is boring? That is not the case with this episode. They made things a lot more interesting, and I absolutely love the episode because of it. And there really was one big plot line throughout the whole thing, and there wasn't any, Oliver Felicity stuff, which, honestly, I'm getting tired of. So I really enjoyed the episode, so let's just get to it. So we pick up right where the last episode left off. Remember the tense handshake between Slade and Oliver? Well, we pick up right from there, because Oliver's puzzled why Slade is there. He claims he merely is there to make a donation to Moira's mayoral campaign. And Slade has brought a bottle of authentic Australian rum, something called Ruther rum, for a toast. So Slade makes a crack about how tough it must have been for Oliver to survive all the time on the island. Right here, we get treated right away to a flashback. Oliver's training, running, jumping, and shooting arrows, and basically we're seeing how he became Arrow. We learn that Slade was actually his trainer. The person that trained him was Slade. And they, along with Sarah, are going to try to storm Ivo's freighter. At this point, Slade and Oliver, they're okay. Slade is kind of like a father figure to Oliver. Kind of like how now Oliver is a father figure towards Roy. I really like that. Oliver, Sarah, and Slade decide that if their plan fails, they cannot let Ivo get his hands on the Mirakuru. They decide to destroy all the drugs, so that will never happen. And Sarah tells Oliver that she's worried Ivo will tell Slade that Oliver chose her over Shadow, indirectly leading to Shadow's death. Sarah wants Oliver to kill Ivo if he gets the chance. So we're back at the hideout, and Slade brings a bottle of Ruther rum for them to toast. What they hope will be a successful raid tomorrow. So Oliver tells Sarah that if he does not make it, he wants to tell his family that he matured and turned into a responsible person after the boat sank. She then tells him to promise that he will tell her family that she died when the boat sank, so they will remember her as the innocent young girl she was. Which I kind of like this. This is why the episode's called The Promise, because he made her this promise, that he would mature into a responsible person after the boat sank, and he will tell his family that she died when the boat sank. As we remember, so remember, they think that she was dead all this time. She basically promised him to, and that's why they thought she was dead all this time, because he knew she was not dead. He knew. He just never told any of them, and I really like that about this episode, that we found that out. So Oliver falls asleep. He dreams of Shadow. She asks him why he didn't choose her instead of Sarah, and it's actually a nightmare. When Oliver wakes up, he dons a green hood to hide his face, and so yeah, he dons a green hood to hide his face. This again, he's slowly becoming the Arrow in the flashbacks. Slade picks up a different face cover, the black and yellow mask of Deathstroke. Now that is how he presumably became Deathstroke, was from that one scene right there. We then get our first peek at some of the many prisoners inside Ivo's ship. One of them is this Russian man with a beard. There's a preacher who has a pet mouse. The Russian man is taken to Ivo's room, where Ivo plans to remove an eye to use in his research. Now, because Ivo is removing eyes, I'm kind of thinking that Ivo's the one that actually makes Slade lose an eye. Because as we know, Slade currently has an eye patch over his eye. We don't know how it got there. We don't know what caused it to get there. All we know is that he has an eye patch over his eye. I'm thinking now that Ivo is actually the one that did that to him. And I wouldn't be surprised, because now he has tools to remove people's eyes while in his research. I'm thinking that maybe... And I'm thinking it might have just been accidental, too. It could have been something as simple as, hey, I want you to come in and test this thing out for me, and he loses an eye because of it. That easily could have happened to Slade. We also learned that Ivo's doing all this because he wants the Mirakuru to save his wife. So Ivo sees Oliver on the bench, on the beach, and sends 2 of his men to get him. They grab our hero, they throw him in one of the jail cells on the ship, and he's introduced to the priest whose name is Thomas Flint. Ivo begins to torture Oliver, giving him a dose of sodium, pentothal, or truth serum. And back to the present where Mora, Oliver, and Slade are sitting in the living room. They talk a bit about losing people close to you, and Slade says he will never be able to move on from losing his loved ones. Mora leaves, and Oliver tries to stab Slade, but Slade blows the blow effortlessly. He seems utterly in control. Just then, Thea walks in. Slade menacingly says, "I want you to meet the rest of your family." And that was honestly very creepy right there. We return to the flashbacks. Ivo is questioning Oliver, who tells him everything due to the truth serum. Oliver reveals that Sarah and Slade are in the engine room, and every one of Ivo's men go down there. Oliver finds a natural drug that will counteract the sodium pentothal. He's been faking all the time. He surprises the guests. So, meanwhile, Slade and Sarah, they get on board by using a parachute to fly over. So then in the present, Oliver's phone accidentally butt dials Felicity at the Arrow hideout. That was actually kind of funny. A little side note, I like that. And then Sarah overhears Slade through the phone and recognizes his voice. Finally, we see Roy. We haven't seen Roy since episode 12. I think this was the perfect episode to see Roy again because, again, just like Slade was Oliver's trainer, Oliver is, Roy's trainer. And I like the way they're kind of doing that. So Felicity tells, so Sarah tells Roy, Dig, and Felicity that they need to get the mansion, or Slade will try to kill everyone in Oliver's family. They take the biggest gun they can find and head over to save the day. So then the flashback, Sarah is freeing all the prisoners. One of them turns on her because she used to help Ivo torture them. The priest, Flint, saves her. Meanwhile, Slade is killing all of Ivo's men. They fire bullets at him, but even guns do not go good against the miracle-fueled Slade. So Oliver finds Ivo, who knows his boat is being overrun and is making a last call to his wife, who seems out of it. Doesn't even know who he is. Oliver gets the drop on him, could take a shot to kill him, but Oliver hesitates. Ivo takes the momentary chance to blame Oliver for Shadow's death, and he says enough for Slade to overhear the story. Is it true? Slade asks. Oliver cannot lie, and Slade attacks him, allowing Ivo to escape. Then the ship begins to run around as Oliver and Slade fight. In the chaos, Oliver escapes. The prisoners and Ivo's men are fighting. Sarah, Flint, and most of the prisoners... By the way, the scene was amazing. I really love the way this was done. Sarah, Flint, and most of the prisoners get off, but as Oliver tries to flee with them, Slade pulls him back on board, throws Oliver in one of the prison cells, and then kills the ship's captain. "This is my ship now," he tells the crew. They seem fine with that. So in the present, everyone's at the mansion. Dig has his super strong sniper rifle and is about to shoot Slade the moment he sees him. This was amazing, though. I mean, that was so well done that Diggle is trying to do that. So Sarah has scaled the roof and breaks into the house. Roy's getting inside trying to distract Mora and Thea. By the way, no Laurel in this episode, which honestly was a good thing because she didn't have to be in this episode. And plus, she annoyed me in the last episode, so I'm kind of glad we didn't have Laurel in this episode. Roy greets Slade with a firm handshake. Sarah shows up as well, surprising Slade, and it is clear that Oliver has plenty of allies around, so Slade decides to leave. And Oliver walks Slade out as Diggle prepares to take a headshot with a sniper rifle. Before he can, someone actually knocks Dig out. Slade makes a crack about having allies too, and he drives off, but not before saying this. And I love this line right here. 5 years ago, I made a promise. I made you a promise. I'm here to fulfill it. That is why he's here. He's here to fulfill his promise. And then we get one last flashback, and it's Slade drags Ivo out, puts him across from Oliver, hands Ivo a gun, asks Ivo to show how he killed Shadow. Slade then chops Ivo's gun hand. Slade turns to Oliver and says, "You will not die until you have known complete despair." And that was the promise that he made, was that you will not die until you have known complete despair. So, Slade basically wants to try to ruin Oliver, and then to make things even worse, we see that while Slade was taking his tour of the Queen Mansion, he had cameras all over the place, so he knew of their plan. He knew they were trying to kill him. He knew that they were just trying to basically shoot him. He knew all of this, so Slade is definitely forced to be reckoned with. He's going to be impossible to take down at this point, it seems. And I just cannot wait to see where this goes. Unfortunately, we have to wait a week for Arrow to come back. I don't know why the CW is waiting a week. I don't know. But we have to wait a week. So, honestly, though, this episode, though, was amazing. I loved every minute of this episode because we got to learn a lot more about Slade and Oliver. Their relationship before before they got off the island. We got to see them get off the island. Finally, now they're off the island. We got to see Ivo's demise. I don't think he died. He just doesn't have an arm. But we got to see something bad happen to Ivo. We got to see a potential way for Slade to lose the eye. And we saw, why Slade is there. All those questions were answered in this episode. The only thing that I like that we didn't have any Felicity, Oliver drama and Sarah drama. I like that. I like that there wasn't any love triangles. I like that this was kind of like a break from the usual drama. There was no big villain. Because at this point, I think now Slade is the big villain. Slade is the one they're going to take down. And I really hope they're done with the villain of Big Bad of the Week. I really hope they don't do that because that was getting really annoying. I mean, last week's villain wasn't even that strong. So I didn't like it at all last week. This episode, though, has the potential to possibly be my favorite. I think it might be my favorite of the season. But overall, I love the episode. Let me know what you guys saw of the episode. How did Slade lose his eye? How is he going to ruin Oliver? As we know, he said he wants to make him feel complete despair. So how is he going to do that? Will they succeed in killing Slade? I'm thinking Slade might get killed off by the end of the season. Or he might be the type of villain that they can't take down. He's going to be the big villain for the rest of the show, even, I think. I think that could happen as well. Were you happy with the break from all the Oliver Felicity drama? Were you happy about that? I was very happy about that. Who shot Dig? Who shot Dig? What do you think that whole thing's about? And also Sarah. How did Sarah fake her death? That's the other thing. We need to know that Sarah faked her death, and Oliver's going to tell them that she did fake her death, died, but she didn't die. She faked her death. So how did she fake her death? That's it for my review, though. Hope you enjoyed it, and my next video will be my review for the Vampire Diaries. So I will see you guys for that. Bye.